Hello, everybody. It is Monday. Just catching Ian. Ian is here.
I'm still doing stuff. Keep going. Well,
I'm just gonna take the mick, mate, saying that you finally you've showed up today.
You've kept that up your sleeve.
Right.
We've spoken all day. You've kept that right up your sleeve. Bosh!
I've been waiting. Left me hanging, mate. It was good though.
Well, I knew you could hold the fort without me. Do you know? That's what I was going to say.
So we are live and uncut on Monday, 7 o'clock. I'm going to go through it. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you've got your phone as well in front of you, head over to the Mindful Hairdresser. That's Ian's YouTube channel. Share this. So just click the share button, grab the link, put it over onto all your socials, and follow us on Instagram. Get your questions in. See, Lewis and Deborah are already in the house. So get some questions in, and I will let Ian introduce who is with us tonight.
I like how I get to introduce everybody. That's like the thing, isn't it now?
Ant and Dec.
Ant and Dec, yeah. The thing is, though, with Gill, so we got Gill Berry on tonight. So a little bit of a background. Gill Berry and I, we pretty much started the same time, 2010, 2011, with the Joico Europe team. And we instantly hit it off. And I can't think of any person more generous than Gill when it comes to sharing information or for education. She is one of life's true educators. She goes above and beyond whatever it is to teach people. She gives everything away freely. But what she doesn't kind of do is big herself up enough. So I've just written down a load of stuff that she's done. So first of all, Gill was instrumental in bringing to us the Salon Ideas program with Joico, not just the first, but the second, the third, and the third. So she had a hand in all of those and creating all those fantastic color techniques for that program. She has her Style Identity program, which is always sold out for Joico Europe, across Europe, wherever she does that. And the new program, Curves and Curls, is also something she's had a hand in. And she is like the dame of product knowledge, of how to use products, product mixing, and use them in real life situations in the salon. So, but she doesn't realize how powerful that is. She always just says, oh, it's something I do. Actually, it's phenomenal what she does. So we're going to bring her on and we're going to speak to her without any further ado. And I think the best way to let her tell her story. Is it, Paul?
Yeah.
Let's bring on Gill.
Hey, Gill.
Wow.
Are you blushing?
What a joke. I got all hot, can't you tell from that?
So,
oh my God.
So that is it though, right? So like I always say, you just think that's part of the course, but it's not. It's a big statement of things you do, how you deliver it, the way you do deliver it. That's like an amazing achievement. And I think you're one of the most humble people I know when it comes to that. You never brag, you never talk about anything other than the product or what's in front of you, or you very rarely put yourself out in front of anything, which is like bizarre, because people with less talent actually say more by themselves than you do, which I always get frustrated at. So Gill, take us back to the beginning. You're 375 years of age now, so where did it all begin?
35 years, I think it is now. Yeah, getting there. God. Where do you want me to start? Right at the beginning?
Yeah.
Right
What took you into hairdressing? Why did you become a hairdresser?
I'll tell you what, I have got something quite interesting to say about that, because when I started with the youth training scheme, the YTS scheme.
Me too.
I know, because we're that era, right? But we were really lucky, because when you look at it now, my mentor was Daniel Galvin, Joshua Galvin. And he was the guy that kind of started my whole interest in hairdressing. But going right back to the very beginning, my aunt was a hairdresser, and she used to have a salon in her living room. And when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I used to hold the hairspray shield. That was my job. I made 2p tips from there were little old lady clients that she used to do. And I guess that's pretty much where it started. But yeah, So the YTS was Joshua Galvin was the guy who was in the head of all of that, and he actually instigated the YTS scheme back in the 80s. That would have been 85, 86.
Yeah.
So I got to go to the London College of Fashion 1 day a week as my college, and yeah, I mean, I got to start very early on seeing some amazing stuff from some amazing hairdressers, and that's really what started me. And I worked as an apprentice for 2 years doing that, and yeah, that's kind of where it all began.
And were you in the city centre then? Were you in London city centre, or were you in the suburbs?
Very early on. I started with Shumi salons, which
no way.
Kings Road and
Kings Road, yeah.
That's where I started.
Yeah, because you had Shumi salons there. You had Gingers there with Andrew Jose. He was there. Was it Heinz Shumi, wasn't it?
Heinz and Gregor.
Heinz and Gregor Shumi. I remember those. They're big names then, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I didn't realise it at the time, to be honest.
How long were you there for?
For about 1.5 years.
Yeah. So,
and then I came back to Uxbridge, funnily enough, after that.
Okay,
but if you want to know why, it was because I actually couldn't cope with the hours.
Oh,
because
really?
I used to have to get a train to go into central London, even though we lived literally 14 miles. It used to take 1.5 hours to get there. 14 miles outside of London, not on the train. It was a nightmare. Yeah. And we generally didn't finish work until 9, quarter to 10 at night. And I was going home as a 16-year-old girl at 11 o'clock at night on the train. Yeah. And yeah, I couldn't handle it. And I'd be up and out of the house at 5 and just to get to work on time, you know, it was crazy hours.
There was some good salons. There was another salon there called Smile as well.
Yeah, there was.
And on the end of that road, there was American Retro, I think was the... remember that?
Yeah, the 1950s cars with the old petrol station at the front. Yeah.
When I was the same age, really, I used to go, very rarely go down to London because it was like 1 million miles away from where I lived in the valleys. So it was kind of, but I remember going there for a few things, for some courses and stuff, and walking the King's Road and being like, just
so cool.
Couldn't believe what it was like. And I remember looking at the Sassoon movie, and it says, the King's Road is actually your atelier. That's where everything was on the street and all the photographers taking pictures. And it wasn't quite like that in the 80s, but I don't think it was far off with the new romantics and stuff when you were started.
Yeah, and the punks used to hang around the park in the middle of King's Road. They were cool. I mean, I spent a lot of my younger days kind of hanging around Carnaby Street and watching all the punks getting all their photos taken in Camden, and it was inspiring. The 80s was such a good time to come into hairdressing because it was Antenna just started up, and I went and got my first set of extensions done in Antenna in Kensington. That was.
Yeah, so I went there to learn to do them, and they were in the day then it took 2 people to put extensions in because you had to weave them in. You had to weave it. So one would be going this way, one would be going that way, and you'd weave them in. Then you'd have to bond them.
That's right.
And then that was
cut it in, and then they'd wrap the hair around.
So Paul, when were you born? What year?
Well, what you're talking about, I think I was 1. I was born
I had my first set of extensions done really early. I was at 5.
Because I think Antenna was at the bottom of Kensington High Street, I think.
Yeah, Church Street.
Church Street at the bottom. Yeah. It's just off Kensington, left-hand turn, right?
Yeah.
On the side.
And Kensington Market was just behind.
That's right, yeah.
The Crazy Colours first started.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're talking to you about that then. It's like there's a huge amount of heritage, right, in what you do. And I think we were talking before we came on, and I think you're quite dismissive of it in a way, like it doesn't count for anything. But actually, I think that was the thing that possibly shaped you as a hairdresser to where you are now, because there were so many like phenomenal hairdressers then. And I always say that if I picked up Hair Magazine at that time and I looked through it, without looking at the credits, I could tell you who did what.
Yeah.
Because everybody had this style, they had their own technique, and they had their own signature, if you like. And you could see it, and you probably knew the photographer you knew who the hairdresser was. You just knew that style, whether it was Tony and Guy, Anthony Mascolo, whether it was Andrew Jose, or it was Simon Forbes, or anybody, or Robert Labetta, or anything. You just knew it was them. And I think now, hair has become so undefined. So now you don't know what's what. You look for credits, and it's all very samey. Do you not think?
Yeah, but I think we were lucky because we came into an era from the 60s and the 70s, and then the 80s just hit everybody. I mean, Trevor Sorby kind of transformed the 80s with that wedge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was kind of my idol at the time because he was just bang on, mad hair, crazy hair, and we didn't really see that from Sassoons did some crazy stuff, but it was just really precise haircuts and not really out there. But Trevor Sorby just blew everyone's minds to begin with in the 80s, and I just think we were lucky then because it hadn't been done before. Whereas now,
education was changing because then we had the introduction of VHS and Betamax videos, right? And I can remember, Paul. So we used to when I
VHS.
So Paul, this is it. So when I worked for Sebastian, for instance, like many moons ago, they were innovators in education because what they did, they filmed everything they did. So you imagine YouTube back now, it would be like filming on VHS or Betamax. VHS became the big thing, but it was so expensive to film and produce, and nobody had a VHS player. And where Jerry and John were very, very clever is that when they sold their education package with the videos, it was like, say it was $250 for one video of a haircut or 3 haircuts on a video. They sold the $250, so the video came with a video player. Wow. So they sold you the recorder as well, and that's how because they knew nobody had them. Yeah. So they made it expensive, but you got a recorder and you got the VHS thing, and that's how they got into people's homes.
And who was that? Sebastian?
Sebastian, John and Jerry Cazenza, they started that. And I remember watching my first video of Trevor Sorby, and he was cutting hair and he was showing, and it was like quite rough. If you look at it now, it's probably quite rough. Still a phenomenal artist. But I can remember the sweat dripping off his nose. He used to just perspire throughout filming. He was just like so hot. The lights must have been so hot.
Didn't have air conditioning then.
No air conditioning. Right?
Didn't have air conditioning.
But it was like a whole new world. I was like 1980, 81, 82. I started in 79 as a Saturday boy, progressed to full-time at 1980. So I remember all those things. So fast forward, Gill. When did you take that leap to become like a salon owner then? What prompted that?
So I was leaving the shop that I was working in. I was going to go and work for Tony and Guy, funnily enough, in I think it was their academy in, is it Square, something Christian Square in London? Can't remember now. And then because I'd handed my notice in, my boss just said, you can run it, you be the manager, I'll hand it all over to you. That's an opportunity. And I took it, and I at the time I was I don't know if I just completely ruined my career because it could have been like rocketed forward with Tony and Guy, but actually I think I could have been a really, really tiny little tadpole in a very, very, very big pond, and I think it would have been really difficult for me to actually have got to where I've got to had I have done that. So yeah, I took over running the business, and I kind of transformed it at the time. So I think he just decided to retire after I'd kind of taken over the business from him, and I made it quite successful, and he left and sold it to me, so I took it on.
Wow,
I've got a similar story as well with that.
It was we made quite a lot of mistakes at the beginning though, as Ian knows very well. But I'm not embarrassed to say it either. I think we've learned so much about it. We had 3 salons in the end, and a coffee shop, and a sandwich shop, and we lost it all within about 10 years. So and we've only really, if I'm telling you now, we have only really just got back on our feet after that. 12 years later.
Yeah, I can remember. That's the time we met, if you remember.
Yeah. I was right in the middle of it when I met you. Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah.
Just like
the reason for me joining Joico team, it wasn't just because I wanted to be creative and get out there on the stage. It was because I needed to build my confidence back up again, because I literally had lost it all. I didn't know whether I was going to carry on hairdressing. I didn't know whether I was going to carry on with anything, to be quite honest, at that point in my life. But
your story is similar, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've got a similar story to that as well. I didn't know that, Gill. So like when I met you, you were the first artist for Joico I worked with.
I know, it was great. We loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah, much. Yeah. So, and I was going to say about we both had the sort of sport background as well, swimming, and I was a footballer, and we were talking in the taxi. But my story similar to that was I made a decision, which in turn I was thinking, oh, did I make the right decision? So I was at a salon, and then I went for an interview at Leo Bancroft in Surrey.
Right.
And he was like Jess was at uni. It wasn't really the right time, but he was like come back in the summer, and then we'll get moving. You'll assist me. You'll travel the world. You'll do all of this. And I was like, oh my God. And then I got back to Kettering, and my boss at the time said, do you want to buy the salon? Because he was just getting rid of it. He was, needed to get rid of it. And I was in a predicament where I was like, do I go like sort of profile your career under somebody, or do you try and carve it out yourself? And it was always something that sort of stuck in my mind. Should I have, or is it good to run with it? And I met Leo in LA at a same event, and he came over and he was like, Paul. I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh. And I said to him, I said, I sometimes think, should I have worked with you? And he goes, why? We're in LA together. You're working for this company as well. What did you need to do? And that's when it sort of hit me. It was like, sort of like carving out your own journey.
Yeah,
is a lot of the time where you need to find your feet.
Yeah. I learned so much from my mistakes.
Yeah.
If you've not gone through that, I think it's actually hard to run a business without knowing what not to do.
Yeah. I mean, I know what not to do from my old boss. So when I took the salon over, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to overstaff it. I'm not going to. And I've been lucky, touch wood, that I've just kept very sensible.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get completely carried away by what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And in this industry, especially, because it's especially nowadays, it's everywhere. It's on YouTube, it's everywhere, I mean, you've just got to concentrate on what you focus on and stay true to yourself, and try not to get blinded by everybody else's internetness, because some of it is just not real.
I think that's one of the things one of the things we learned about, especially with the Joico family. We say the Joico family, but we really mean it, because that's how we feel about one another when we work with each other. And it sounds a bit naff and a bit shit. That, oh my God, it's true, right? We can talk to each other very openly and all that type of stuff, and it's kind of nobody's judging. And like I remember when we met, and you were like, "Oh my God, this is what's happening to me," and this, and if you remember rightly, the same thing had happened to me probably about 6 years before, where I'd lost everything, and but mine was a result of a divorce, and so on and so forth. And for whatever reason, it was just like. But I learned a lesson, and I learned it before I started business. Actually, somebody said to me, which was, "You will always rise to your own level of incompetence." So the business will get so big that eventually it overwhelms you, and you start making if you make a mistake at that point, they are catastrophic mistakes.
Yeah.
And I made a few of those, like catastrophic mistakes. And not only did I do that, I did it again about 10 years later, just for good measure, just to check it was still working,
But it's just so easy to get caught up in all of that, though. I mean, we purely bought our third salon because it was in Ealing, and we wanted the status symbol of being in central London, and it cost us our business. Had we not have done that, we would have been fine, but we just got completely blown over by the whole. It was kind of as Akin was coming up with Hob, and Hob was getting massive, and everyone was having a group salons, and we wanted to be in that game, and we were really in with the fellowship at the time, and we were going to be the next Hob. Couldn't afford to be the next Hob. We didn't have any financing. We put our whole necks on the line, put our house on the line, everything. All the things you should never, ever, ever do, we did. And
all the things you should never do, and everything nobody tells you.
Yeah. Well, my mum told me at the time. My dad told me at the time. I didn't listen.
I remember reading a really good book, and somebody recommended it on one of the forums recently, and he says it's called Self-Made in America, and it's by a guy called John McCormack. And he owns a company in LA called Visible Changes, which is one of the biggest salon groups in the whole of America. And he says, first time out of the gate, you bet it all. The more successful you become, you start becoming more considered about how much you back yourself. But first time out, when you've got nothing, just bet it all. It doesn't matter, and I love that. But then you've got to get wiser and protect yourself from those things later on, I think, which is like really interesting. So, but bringing on Gill then from that, I know it was a painful time because that's where we met. I think we actually met at we met at a Joico event where we brought together, I think at the Sanderson Hotel, where we all came together.
With, Sid, and I can't remember who else was there. Somebody else there as well, I can't remember.
I think it was Sid, and I think it was the PR girls and all the team.
Yeah.
I think maybe Missy, I don't think Missy was there.
Yeah, Missy was there, yeah. Sid and Missy. Yeah.
So Sid and Missy, we all signed up Ryan came on board, and then Dan was there, and there was this quiet little funky guy with curly hair, didn't have much to say, and a little hat and backpack. A little hat and a backpack, yeah. So let's talk about influence. Obviously, a big influence on your career, and definitely on mine. I share the same passion for the guys, and I enjoyed working under him, and that was Gianni, right?
Yeah. I consider him to be a good friend now, Gianni. Yeah, definitely. He was a massive influence at the beginning, huge. But actually, at the very, very beginning, it was more Damien Carney. He was kind of
Damien was on board with this, and Damien, he was again real generous educator. He gave it all away and made it look.
Structure shoot.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. I remember the first thing we did. That was the structure photo shoot, right?
That was the first thing, and we had Desmond Murray as a photographer.
Desmond Murray took the pictures, and we all had a model, and we all had to represent one part of the product brand. And it was the launch of Structure, and then at the press launch in some swanky London townhouse thing, it was Damien Carney and me and Gill. So we launched Structure to the British market. We had all the press there. We were doing press people's hair, Gill, do you remember? PR.
Doing yours as well, Ian.
Yeah, he cut my hair in the day as well. But we were doing all prep for the show. Damien ran it. He was phenomenal. And Jill and I assisted Damien. And I said I'm still good friends with Damien. I speak to him not as often as I should, but I still speak to him on a regularish basis. And he's a really good guy. And he taught me a lot of good things. But Gianni was just different, I think. And my experience with Gianni set me up to do what I do now, I think. And my philosophy changed. But he changed my philosophy. And I don't know how you felt about that, Gill. Did you?
Oh, massively. I think he stripped me back to completely naked almost. And literally I had to redress myself. That's how it felt. I felt like I'd been completely stripped back and then rethink it all again. And I'm so glad I did that because it totally took me up to a much higher level than I think I was at the beginning. And I think I was at a pretty good level then. So, I've got a lot to thank for Gianni in that sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But he's also, he's just so in depth. There's just so much there that he can't help but share. And I think he is a fantastic educator. And the way he truly looks at people, he doesn't see hair, he sees a person first, and then he decides on how that haircut is going to develop because he gets to know that person, and that's what I strive to do. And
that is the hardest thing, to almost live in somebody else's skin, to feel the same things they feel. I don't know how he does it, but he does it better than anybody I've ever met. He reveals the person through a haircut.
Yeah,
and it's such an expressive, clever way of he is one of the best, most technically gifted hairdressers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's how he works. But more importantly, is how he takes that gift and he transfers it into something that becomes life almost. He gives forms life. Paul, he is like, I don't know, like. It's very difficult when you work with him not to blow sunshine up his ass. You know what I mean? And which is something.
The ego story you were telling me.
Yeah. It's just like he's this guy's got this creative imagination, but he's very, very. In one way, unless you get to know him, he doesn't give a lot away. In a session, he gives everything, but as a person, he doesn't really. He's very private, Gill, isn't he? And he's one of the best haircutters. He is one of the best haircutters in the world. But it's not about his hair cutting. It's about his transformative, what he does to people and to models, and how he gets this connection, which I just, you strive to do as an artist. You strive to do, and I am nowhere near getting to that level. And it's something I wake up every morning wanting to do, to recreate that and find the voice inside the person you're dealing with and allowing them to express without them having to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just comes natural to him. He doesn't have to try. It's definitely something that's built within, I think. And I don't think everybody would naturally be able to do that. I think there is definitely something in him that just makes him stand out from the rest. I mean, I've worked with him 10 years. And I've been lucky enough to work with him on lots of different projects, and privately as well. And he's done lots of really creative shoots and stuff for lots of people. And he never does the same thing twice. It's just always something different. And you think, I could do that. Why didn't I think of that? Where did that come from? I could have done that. But he's done it before me, and you can't do it again.
Yeah. The one story, I'll be quick. The one story I remember, he'd been to South Africa, and they said the results he had in South Africa the first time, people were in tears. Paul, people were in tears watching this guy cut hair, and I was like, "Shut up! In tears watching the bloody haircut. Come on!" Yeah. So we went to Taiwan, and I was lucky enough to travel to Asia with him, and I did a show with him in Asia, and I was running the show for Joico. Literally, I mean, there was a lot of time leading up to this. I'd worked with him quite a lot over a period of time. And then he sort of trusted me. And on the one show, he said to me, right, on the day of the prep, we had 18 models to do. And on the day of the prep, he said to me, right, we're going to go in. You're going to run backstage because I've got press to do from 10 till 4. So you need to run it. You know what to do. I've showed you what to do. You know how I run it. That's how you need to run it. And he walked out and left me run the back. I ran the whole pre-show stuff, which is fantastic. But when he came to rehearsal, we do all our rehearsals together, and he's so meticulous in rehearsal. But so after we finished our rehearsal, we went back up on this mezzanine floor where all the models were, and I could hear him doing his own rehearsal. And I didn't know what was going on. I just heard the music and so on. It was pretty cool. Later, before we went on, he said, look, when we've done our show, go up in the gallery and watch my show and give me some feedback. Oh, yeah, cool, no worries. So we finish the show, get off stage, I run around the auditorium, up the stairs, into the gallery, watch him do his one-man show. And I kid you not, it was a 25-minute one-man show. And by the end, Paul, I swear on my children, my lip was going like this. And I was like, pull this all together.
What? Story or
it was just an emotional journey that he took you on using hair. And I literally, my lip was giving in. And I was like, oh my God, I've got an encore to do. Come on, pull this up. And I had to run back downstairs. And I was like, and when we came out from the encore, there were people in the audience wiping tears from their face.
Wow.
And there was about 1,200 people there, I think. I have never seen anything like it in my life. Yeah. And he will live with me forever the way he did that.
Yeah. You know? I've never worked with him, but the vibe, just his aura that you sort of get, like that podcast that you always go on about. Yeah. Number 88. But his YouTube videos and all that, it's like his interviews he's done as well. The vibe you get is basically what you're saying. I've never worked with him, but I get what you mean.
But what you get on the interviews and what you get on a podcast is this much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's like he's an ocean of like stuff. Yeah. And you get to see this much, it's like he's incredible. But so Gill, you then started with Salon Ideas.
Yeah.
And you progressed with that and kind of like that revolutionized training hairdressers for Joico in Europe, especially. But I think it went beyond that. So do you want to tell us a bit about that?
So yeah, Salon Ideas, I started actually just assisting Janny because we had a colorist at the time who was
Christy.
I think it was on the
Was it Christy or Wendy?
Christy and Wendy, yeah. Okay. And Janny was obviously there to do the cuts, and I was there to assist Janny with the cuts, which ended up me sort of doing more of the styling for it and Janny doing the cuts for it, basically. And then I can't really remember what happened, but I think Christy had obviously left, and there wasn't anybody else to do the colour for the second Salon Ideas. And I'd just come back from somewhere, and I can't remember. I think I was in a cab coming back from the airport, and I got a phone call from Wendy saying, "Salon Ideas next week. How'd you fancy doing the colour?" And I thought, what? Me?
Not just do the colours, but create the colour, create the technique,
come up with the
philosophy, do the whole thing. Yeah,
come up with the whole concept. And we had like a week before we were supposed to start doing the shoot for it. Because obviously there's like a photo shoot beforehand, and then it goes into like the workbooks and everything. So yeah, I spent like a week panicking, trying to come up with a new concept of how to do this colour that Janny had already created the haircut for. So I had to come up with something. And so I went up to Janny's studio, and we worked on him doing his cut and me doing colour, and came up with the second Salon Ideas too, yeah. So which went over to the States, which was cool actually. Went over there and taught the American team the techniques, and then we went straight out and did the whole global training for 60, 70 odd stylists. And I was there teaching colour. It was crazy. But yeah, I like colour in the salon, so it wasn't like I don't do colour, but yeah, I wasn't there as a colour educator.
What's really nice with Joico, what first sort of brought my attention to it, I suppose, was the quality of the books. And I think the quality of the books, and you can see with everything they do now, the courses that the European market especially get when they come to our courses, is the quality of step-by-steps. Yeah. Just like the brochure. It's just
the work that went into that first Salon Ideas book. I mean, I can't tell you how many days and how many nights we sat in front of the computer just trying to get the wording right, trying to get do we put an arrow in here? Do we not put an arrow in there? Does anybody understand? I mean, it just, it's mind-boggling how much work and money that goes into those things.
Yeah. But the detail.
Well, what a nice book to have in your hand when you're flicking through. You feel it. You feel the quality, which makes you think, this is going to be a quality cut. This is going to be a quality colour. You don't put that much money into something for it to be a rubbish.
Mediocre.
It was a proper coffee table book.
I loved it. The coffee table book itself was amazing. I mean, it was a work of art. You had just an upside down chair in a page. It was fantastic, and it really made you think. Really good book.
It's super cool. So, like progressing to say now, you've got a new course coming out soon, which is it would be now, wouldn't it? But
it should have been already done.
It would be now. Yeah. But Ian and I were supposed to be. We literally had gone in and did our kind of rehearsal for it, didn't we? About 2 weeks before lockdown.
Yeah.
And we were like, is it going to go out? Is it not going to go out? Is it going to go out? And it didn't go out, obviously.
I was a reserve, because it was actually Jill and David who was doing it. And I was like the third wheel. So
it was Elton. Me and Elton.
Elton. So there's you and Elton, and they were saying, "Oh, we need to do this." And I'm saying, "Whoa," because actually, don't deal me into anything, because we may it's all about numbers, and if the numbers are high, I would be the third person. Like I'm basically assisting. I was like Jill's bitch, really, and I'd be assisting. So that was my job. But it was like it was. I know. It's like, but I know it was it's a great concept, and I think they got to go ahead with it. It's got to come out. It's got to, after lockdown, it's going to be one of the first things they launch. They have to.
Well, it's something a lot of people struggle with.
They've been talking about how we can go ahead with it. We don't want to waste it, because it's a really nice concept, and it works really well with the new 2 products that have come out, the air dry. Yeah. It's basically brought out because of the air dry products and the blowout cream as well. So I mean, I love the haircut. I think I love working with textured hair, and I love working with curls as well. So anything like that, I'm right on that.
Yeah, it's something that us hairdressers, there's not many courses for it. I mean, we were talking about something similar with Afro hair. It's something that we don't really get taught at a fundamental. We're taught to perm hair really tightly or loosely, but we're not really shown how to handle it, how to cut it, how to style it. And I think that's something that the hairdressing industry really needs to up their game. And when
I was really lucky because I was in an era where that was actually still part of the curriculum in London College of Fashion. I didn't get to do lots of that with it, but we did get to learn the fundamentals of working with textured hair.
Yeah.
And I think, it's really sad because I've heard now that even perming's gone out of the curriculum.
Well, it's
scary. You've got to be a hairdresser. You've got to learn all aspects of hairdressing.
Yeah. Have you read what Lewis has put there?
No. You and Dave sort of surprised me.
I was on something the other day with. I wasn't on today. I was listening into. I think it was Leah Shaw, who's made a few comments here tonight. Who's always regular with us. She's great, Leah, and she was interviewing Jane Lewis, or she was talking about BHAs and stuff, and they were talking about Errol. Is Errol going to win? And I just commented on it. I think I'm like the Welsh Errol. And Jane Lewis actually just did laugh out loud because I think I've been shortlisted 4 times. I mean, Errol's like 20 times, but I've been shortlisted 4 times, never won it. So that's quite funny. But and Lewis, that's a great story. But that's another time with Lewis. When we got Lewis on here, he can tell you the story. He crucified me, but one time, like in Lewis style, in front of a couple of people. And the people, and the people who were watching came on to me afterwards and said, like, "Are you okay? That was really mean of him to say that." Like, oh, it's just Lewis. It's just Lewis doing that. But Lewis was like, "Oh yeah, you've won nothing. You're always a bridesmaid. You're always running up. You know, you're never going to be that good enough." And all, it's just banter, you know. But yeah, and I just say he's the fattest fit person I've ever met.
Oh, lovely.
The fittest fat person I've ever met, to be fair.
Fattest person.
I do say I have got.
You know you won't be upset with that.
I know he won't. When we do get him on, I have got something special lined up for him, ready. This is going to be the best comeback ever. So, anyway, Jill, so there's challenges ahead, going out of lockdown, restarting our businesses, getting back to our teams and getting our teams remotivated in what we do. So what's your plan? Where are you going with it? Do you have a plan? Are you just like ready?
At the moment, I just feel like I'm in limbo at the moment, to be honest with you. I just feel like I can't do anything until we get some instruction from the government, because if they go down to 1 metre, then it's almost going to be back to normal. Apart from PPE, I can pretty much fit in the salon that we're in. Lucky enough, I can fit in a client in between colours if they go down to 1 metre. If they stay at 2 metre rule, then it's going to be really difficult, because you're going to have half the amount of clients in and you're going to have to charge more, because it's just not going to be viable otherwise. So if it goes to 1 metre, then yeah, great, hallelujah. And back to barely normal. I mean, it's going to be PPE. Yeah, that's going to be weird. Lots of hand sanitizer and lots of washing hands. But, you know, what's new? We've been doing that anyway. So
I know, this is the thing. Like, our industry is so clean anyway. Inside, everything. It's just what we do. The only thing that's different is masks for us. It's going to be weird. I mean, I'm glad I don't wear glasses, because I've seen everybody.
Oh, my God. I put the mask on and within 10 seconds, I'm steamed, fogged, you know, and you just think, oh God, I'm going to be doing that all day, every day. It's just going to be crazy. But you've actually seen these people with the masks, the visors. Have you actually seen anyone breathing with them on? They don't breathe, because as soon as they breathe, it's fog.
We've already got them. I've tested them. They find you can actually buy a screen.
I understand there, and it doesn't work. It fogs. You try it with a mask and a screen and glasses.
Get yourself an anti-fogging spray that's used for glasses. It works a treat, honestly. Yeah. It works a treat.
Well, I'm kind of hoping by the time we go back, we haven't got to wear the visors, because if I'm really honest with you, I don't see the point in visors. I just think if you put a hairdryer on, what is the point?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, if you're going to be wearing a mask, everyone's going to be wearing masks, then it limits it as much as it can possibly limit it. I think there's just too much plastic going out there for my liking, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and that isn't. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think tomorrow they'll bring it down to 1 metre, and to be honest, I don't think we're going to go back until probably 2 weeks. I think they'll pilot it with gyms, and because there's gyms in hotels, they'll open hotels. I think they're going to be given an hour to work out in a gym, and then give it a week, 2 weeks to see if the number increases, and then hopefully we can roll out. But I mean, fingers crossed, we're open on the 4th, but I do think we're going to be last. I mean, me and Ian spoke earlier about this, and it's something I've been researching so much to do my videos about. I want to have facts and that sort of thing before I sort of put it all out. But I think we're going to be mid-July, personally.
Yeah. I think Paul and I we were off the same page. I don't know how you feel, Jill. But sometimes hairdressers are their own worst enemy. I've got like in Wales last week, it was announced that the hospitality industry and hairdressing particularly were to be on standby for potentially opening on the 13th of July. And all of a sudden, the salons around me, there's quite a few, have all gone onto their social media saying, "No, we're ready, we're open, we've been given the go-ahead, we're going to start booking appointments, start calling in, don't miss out, don't be this, that, and the other." And I'm like, I actually messaged one and said, actually, we're not. It's standby and potentially. You know, it's still up in the air, and they won't be making that decision till the 9th of July. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, well, we're going to go for it anyway." And I was like, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Because, like me and Paul discussed it, we don't know what numbers are going to be like. You don't know how many clients you can take in. And if you've got restricted numbers, for instance, and you've got the capacity to do 40 clients a day, and then they say you can only do 25. That's 15 clients a day, 6 days a week. So what's that? That's going to be like 90 clients that you have to find to go elsewhere. How are you going to do that? You know, so it's stupid. You're just going to disappoint people, and I just don't get it. But so many hairdressers are saying, "Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We don't care. We're going to do it anyway." Well, you can't, because you're going to get fined. You're going to get, why would you do that? Right at the last minute of lockdown, why would you be a douchebag and decide to do something as stupid and as irresponsible as that? And it doesn't just jeopardize, you and your own business. It jeopardizes the whole industry.
Yeah.
And I just, and it's just so many different things that people with conversations. Paul and I have had a depth. We've talked to like dozens of people, about it. And people are looking at it the wrong way, I think. And I think I'm just so frustrated with the industry because they're so impatient, and it highlights us as something that somebody, like lots of people within the industry, don't really think further than their own nose or their own shadow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people panic though, Ian. That's the thing. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's just too much information of people that don't know. They're just guessing and stories, and people listen, and it's a panicky world. You've got all this competition out there, and if I don't do this, they're going to do it, and if they don't do it, I'm going to do it, and and it just goes round and round and round. And I think you've just got to stick to your own guns, make your decisions. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to stick to it, and try and not listen to other people's views. I mean, they're all entitled to them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the only person that can tell us when we can open is the government.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they say, this is the day you can open your doors to your clients, we can't do anything. I can't book appointments yet. I mean, I put out, send an email.
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
To stockpile emails, but it's given us a little bit more, it's given us something to do. I feel like I'm starting to get back into work just by looking at the clients, seeing what they want. We're organising them into piles of who wants a Saturday, who wants a weekday, just to make it a little bit more organised, because we know when the phones start and we start ringing people, it's just going to be madness. So, yeah, I'm trying to stay calm at the moment and not get anxious about it all. And I am getting a little bit anxious, I have to be honest, because I just want to get going now. And
it's getting close.
Yeah, and you're looking at all these piles of hair, like requests for haircuts and colours. Yeah. You just want to do something. Yeah. I want to get it in the book. I want to get it written down that this is going to happen, but there's no point. I don't want to be the one ringing everyone and saying, "No, can't do it. Sorry."
Exactly. So overall, Jill, what do you think the like? I would want to say legacy, or what do you think the knock-on effect is to hairdressing as a whole, as industry? Do you have a view on what will happen to the industry post-lockdown? how we will be looked at as an industry, or what would
you know what? I think it's more about how we look at ourselves, because that's how I've come to realise through all of this. It's about time that I had to respect for myself as a hairdresser and not be this. Yes, I mean, I grew up in the era where it was customer service was everything. The customer is always right. You never, you don't ever do anything that will ever upset the client. In fact, you put yourself out to not accept the client, or you make up for them being late, and you put up with it. And at the end of the day, I'm a professional and I should be treated like one. And if clients can't see that or don't respect that, then maybe we shouldn't be so eager to do it.
So do you think there's going to be a lasting effect now? Do you think the value of hairdressers, do you think hairdressers will see themselves that they are more valued?
I hope so, Ian. I mean, I said to my team, because we're going to be asking for a 50% deposit or full payment before any appointment can be booked.
Yeah.
We never did that before. And I used to really struggle trying to get my team to ask for deposits, because they were always terrified of asking anybody for money, because to guarantee their wage at the end of the day, but you wouldn't you don't go online and buy something without paying for it, right? You have to pay for it up front, regardless whether you're going to get it or not. You might not even get it, but you take that risk. But we're to just put a deposit on something,
One of the things you've got to be careful of is with deposit. Instead of calling it a deposit, call it a booking fee.
Booking fee, yeah.
Because with a deposit, with the new consumer laws, you are obliged to pay them back. You can only take out the expenses that it cost you that you incurred to create the appointment, as it were. So it'd be minimal. But a booking fee, you get to keep the whole amount should somebody cancel outside of your cancellation policy, whatever that is.
Is that the case if you put that underneath, though, that no deposits will be refundable if you don't turn up?
No, because consumer law overstates any contract or anything you have written down. British consumer law will supersede that. So that if they go to court with you and say, we disagree and go to court, the courts look at the law. But when it comes to a booking fee, it's a completely different thing. So you could do it different, because a booking fee is a different situation, which doesn't come out, because that is, you're paying a booking fee to use the service. Yeah. And that's a different way of looking, just not a deposit. So so term it as a booking fee. So your booking fee will be 50% or whatever. Don't term it as a deposit, because if they don't attend and it becomes an issue, then you have to refund. And I think that hairdressers have to be very careful, because we are quite generous. I think we have a 24-hour cancellation policy with a lot of 48 hours. And I think you're fine if you can do 48 hours, you can, by trying to be reasonable. And I think we've shown to be reasonable, but you still have a difficulty. But if you call it a booking fee on 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever you choose, then it's indisputable in British law, and that's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, that's good to see. Good to hear it. But yeah, it'll be 24-hour. They have to give us a 24-hour notice of cancellation, and that will be it won't be refundable even if they cancel because they're ill that morning.
Yeah,
I can't afford to waste time. So, but actually, what I was saying to my team today actually was, you've got a good reason now to not feel scared to ask for this money up front because of Corona. And people are now going to be used to everything being different. So now's the time to get into the practice of doing it, because you've got almost like something to say it with, not feel embarrassed or scared to say it.
You're empowered because you know you're in demand.
Yeah.
There's scarcity in appointments. You can, and where they're going to go, they get it's the same scarcity every salon, right?
Yeah.
Every salon
I'm going to make that. It's going to be it for forever. We're going to always do that. And I don't even know if we're going to do walk-ins. We might always do appointment only.
Yeah. John Lewis Moore has asked a question.
What can I say to that? Lewis, it's always you. What has been your best moment as a hairdresser, apart from meeting me? I don't know. What has been my best moment as a hairdresser?
Actually meeting me, so we know that's not true. That's not true, Lewis.
I've got to say, being a part of the Joyco team, I think I've got to say that, because it's opened so many doors. I've had some really good times when in my younger years. I was on Destination with Matrix. That was great. I got to tour all over Europe with some pretty cool people, Errol Douglas, Hooker and Young. They were all in full trick, all there. That was pretty cool. What else? But I've done the L'Oreal Colour Trophy a couple of times. I didn't get to the final of that, but that was when it was at the Albert Hall, which was another really cool venue. It's all been a highlight. There's been highlights in everything, really. I wouldn't say there's been one particular thing that's said, "Oh wow, I've made it." I don't think I have made it. I think you're always striving to do better, right?
Any regrets?
Yeah, shitloads. Shitloads. Yeah. But I probably won't say those ones. No, I mean, yeah, obviously losing the business, I made some massive mistakes with that. That's my massive regret. I used to think about whether or not if I'd gone to Tony and Guy, would it have been different? But I don't really regret it, because then I wouldn't have been doing what I'm doing now. So yeah, it's not a regret. It's just kind of think of what might have been.
Yeah, what if?
Yeah.
And one of my questions is about adapting to the online culture that we are now.
Come on.
Entering. Like,
I feel like I've been dragged out kicking and screaming into.
Yes, you have.
You've got to do it, haven't you? I've got no choice. I don't really. I'm not.
You have got a choice.
I haven't got a choice.
Yes, you have. But you're choosing to walk the line with us. That's what you're doing.
No, I love my job. I love education. I love what I do. I love being part of Joico. I've got I'm a very loyal person. I'm very loyal to the team and loyal to the brand. And I don't want to not do that anymore. And if the only way I can do that is by having to do it through social media, then I've got to do it, haven't I? So I haven't got a choice, because I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
But it's not something that comes naturally to me, as you both know very well. I
actually think that's an old story you're telling, because you no longer stomp your foot when you're talking.
No, I don't. That's true. But you can't see my foot, so I might be.
I remember the first time we trained to do presentations, Jill.
I knew this was going to come out.
No, but you were particularly nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah. And now I see you. I watched, especially doing the Curves and Curls launch, and it's like watching like this consummate artist who just delivers, and it's like faultless. It's seamless what you do. And from seeing it in 2010, 2011 to where you are now, you're a different person. But I still think that person from 2011 still lives in the back of your head somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, it's funny how you focus on that and not on going to America and leading the worldwide team in America, Salon Ideas, going to launch your courses, you're becoming the person that creates these incredible color techniques and stuff like this. And you still think about this little person in the back of your head from like 11 years ago. I still find that really strange.
Yeah, but with a scissors or a cutting comb and a hairdryer, I'm happy. If you make me stand on a stage and just have to talk about myself in front of 5 or 6 people that I know really well, I find that really hard. If you put me in front of 55,000 people, I'd probably be fine. Yeah. But in front of you, Gianni, Lewis, David, that is the hardest thing, and it always will be, and it still is, and it always will be in the future as well, because you guys make me nervous, because you know me so well. Yeah. And that's the problem, is because you know when I'm starting to get losing the speech or I can't get my words out, you guys know. So that's what makes me so nervous. But if I'm in front of people that don't know me, they don't even know if I've done something wrong, so it doesn't matter,
The funny thing is that all the people we work with, like, this is the beauty of how me and Paul have started working together, is that genuinely they want the best for you. They don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. Like, I get so much support from Paul saying, like, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm of the same generation. I'm the same thing. I'm older than you, but it's like I'm the same generation type of thing. And technology is difficult. Like I said, the joke about copy and pasting, it's true. It's not really a joke. But without Paul's support, and also, like, I get a regular phone call saying, have you done that today? Have you done that today? I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to do that, dude. Sorry, got to get around to it. It forces my hand, and I need that, I think, to get that. And it's not bullying. It's just like, come on, dude, do it. Stop. Yeah, don't be a ponce and just get on with it. Like, stop procrastinating, do it. And those are the things I kind of need. But it's actually reinvigorated my zest for hairdressing and hairdressers per se. I enjoy it more, and I've seen different avenues opening up because of it. So I no longer feel that I'm going over that hill. I now see a brand new hill to climb. Like, whoa, right, okay, this is a challenge. And you know me, Jill, I'm competitive as they come.
Oh, really?
I love a challenge. So yeah, let's go and do it, you know. So that's how I look at it. But having people who around you support you and want you to do better is what I now recognize, which maybe that's the thing for you to start recognizing, that everybody around you wants you to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, those messages I sent you, like, and when we were in the team meeting the other evening, I said, if anybody wants any bullying, I'm here. Like, I will push. I mean, one of the stories we said, I don't know how many weeks ago now, but Ian thought I come on the social media train with the Irish girls, and I didn't. I met them for the first time.
I know.
And
they kind of inspired you more, though, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they were like the kick up the bum to like, right, I wake up with a camera in my face with them, so I've just got to get on board with this. And then I just had to do it. And then it becomes so natural now that you're like, the lens doesn't feel like a lens. It just feels like you're talking to somebody. And like when I was talking to Ian about it, and I was petrified. I didn't, even sometimes now I pick up my camera and it's like, no, put that down. I'm not ready yet. And it's those things where you just, I don't know, it is the support network. And like with all the team, like I said, I would happily help anybody into just getting into it, because it does open up so much. And like the vibe you give, even on here, is incredible. And I think the education you would give live would be incredible.
Yeah, the education side of it is the only reason why I would do it, if I'm honest. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously you've got to market your salon these days. It's the only way to do it. And let's go back to the old days of marketing. It was bloody expensive to have to market your business back in the day. So yeah, it's free. Well, free-ish. Yeah. But, you know, you've got to do it. There's no way of getting away from that.
So like, you know, Paul sent me a challenge of setting up my YouTube channel, The Mindful Hairdresser. Subscribe, Mindful Hairdresser. Jill, have you subscribed?
No, I have.
Good girl, thank you.
I subscribed to Paul's the other day because I thought I'd already done it, and then I realised I hadn't. And I think I watched the video and Paul was telling everyone off. I know who you are that watched my videos. Subscribe. And I thought, shit, I don't think I have. You're one of the I've been told off.
Yeah. So that's a good, so for me, like the mindful hairdresser. Me and Paul talked about today. We speak most days, and like it's a different project to giving education in a slightly different way, to try to not like taking what I learned from Gianni in a way, but in my own way, my own experience, and how I use that on a daily basis with stylists, and how I, you know, being competitive is sometimes a whip to your own back, really. You're always flogging yourself, you're always working hard, you're always doing the same things, always chasing. And to do that, you've got to have a really good mindset. You've got to have a good, healthy lifestyle. You've got to have a good, you know, vision of what you're doing and knowing how to manage it. And I think a lot of stylists don't have that. And I think that, you know, along with showing a few little clever techniques maybe and some technical stuff in hair cutting, I can explain that part of it, of how to build a clientele under those stresses and strains and still maintain a good sense of who you are really and how you deliver yourself, rather than being fake and being somebody who isn't. I hate that expression, fake it until you make it. I hate it.
Fake it until you make it. I've never heard that.
Haven't you ever heard that?
Yeah,
I just think I think fake it to make it is kind of like just fake, because I think that you never learn to be authentic. You never learn to be who you are, because once you've developed that fakeness, you have to hide behind it constantly. So I would rather come out and be really Jill, see, you'll be amazing. So I just think you have to be yourself. And actually Lee is one of those people, because she's just being herself. And I
remember Lee from years ago. I went to a salon and we had a training day there, actually. She's a lovely person. I really like her. She's come a long way, actually.
Huge amount. But it's because she's believing in herself. It's because she now has confidence in who she is. And she's like, I'm as real as anybody. And I enjoy what I do and I love it. And I'm going to share it. I don't care who jumps on board. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I love doing it. And you have such a passion for what you do. If you transfer it into a different medium, you will be instantly successful. I know you.
You know what would be a great channel?
Go for it.
Why do I feel like I'm being hounded by you two right now?
You are.
Why do I feel like I've got a YouTube channel coming up?
Gill Berry.
Gill Berry.
Gill Berry product cocktails.
Whoa, come on.
With nothing to do with hair, though. I could tell you I can have a whole little cocktail row. I'm a cocktail maker now. That's what lockdown's done to me.
Yeah.
Lewis Morse has come up with his old trusted one of work-life balance equals Ian Davis. Yeah, I just look like that swan on top of the water. You know, I make it look easy, but my legs are going like crazy. I don't make it look easy. I've never made anything in my life look easy. You know, but
you do it. You can talk on a stage like there's no tomorrow. You just get up there like that, and we'll talk for hours.
Yeah, mostly about bullshit.
Yeah, but most of us can't do that. Most of us can't do it like that. You can.
Well, yeah, it's all a big it's a big sort of veneer, because underneath there's a panicking little 10-year-old who's like, "What the hell am I doing here?" So that's just like, but yeah. So right. So we said at the beginning, an hour is going to go really quickly, right? Has that gone quick?
That's gone pretty quick.
Told you, right?
Yeah,
so is there any last questions for Gill?
That was it. We brought them up all the way through on this one. So
awesome.
I've got a question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
Why do you keep saying you're the newbie when you've been here 2 years?
Yeah, good point.
Because there's no one.
What?
You're not a newbie.
No.
Not anymore. Not after 2 years.
Well,
I don't think you ever felt like a newbie, actually. I think you kind of in the minute we first met.
Yeah, I feel like I clicked with.
Yeah, definitely.
You had your feet under the table straight away.
You do tend to pick out the bad ones.
Yeah.
But
I am a newbie in comparison to the team, but yeah, I've been with everybody 2 years now, and it seems like forever, to be honest.
that makes David Murray really old.
He's the same age as me. Exactly the same age as me.
He just makes him really old because he's been a much longer.
It was just like seamless when I came. I mean, I was nervous as hell when the flight come over to meet everybody. Oh my god! But yeah, I needn't have been. Everyone is like incredible.
I think I fell over when I first met you. Didn't I fall over the sofa when I got up to say hello? That must have made you feel better.
Yeah.
That was obviously in the bar in the Pullman.
Yeah, it was.
I've actually got this. I've got this at the moment. Look, it's my Pullman pen.
So many of them. I don't want to show anybody how many I've got of them.
Best pens ever, actually. I keep it in a safe place so nobody can steal it. I love it.
That's what we have in the salon, Pullman pens.
So we're coming out of lockdown soon, Gill, and we're going to come back to normality. Paul and I, we're going to be doing this like once a fortnight, probably once a week, every Monday. We definitely would have you back, but it might be on a slightly different format. We might be going to play around with a few things, but there's loads of things. Where's Brandon? Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
It's going to be, it'll be cool to have you doing something with us again anyway, because like, I think we've only scratched the surface with you because there's so much more. Like I could talk for hours, you know. We always talk for hours anyway, but I could talk to you for hours, you know. And,
we haven't mentioned the salon, really.
No. House 76.
House 76.
Uxbridge. That's where she is.
Yeah.
Northwest London, Jill.
Northwest London.
Northwest London. That's where she is. So it's been really fab.
Yeah.
It's like always, and I'm glad, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. It's cool. It's just chatting to some mates.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. It's just Yeah, like in the Pullman, but everyone can see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you sort of forget that you're talking to lots of other people.
Yeah.
Who was that guy? It's the barman who made all the great cocktails. Bob.
Oh, Bob.
We just
Look
want
at
Bob to come along and give us some cocktails, right?
Oh, Bob and his espresso martini.
Oh my God.
Although I have to say, after lockdown, he doesn't beat me anymore.
Yeah, you'd have to make it.
Oh, bless him.
He's talking to me. Bless him. He's talking to me, Jill, not you.
No, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
This is air dry, just in case. Little plug. Air dry.
Yeah, air dry. Is that the light one, or is that the heavy one?
Bit coarse hair. And I just whacked it on half a tube, more or less, in my hair because it is thick and it's coarse. Look at that. It's cool.
Yeah, really good.
Huh?
The product was so cool. Zero heat. Zero heat.
Oh, yeah, zero heat. Sorry. Yeah, it was air dry.
Air dry. That was in testing.
Yeah. Zero heat.
Yeah. But listen, Paul, have you anything you would like to finish with?
Just get online, Jill. Like, I loved it.
dig.
I want to see more stories from Jill.
Oh God! Do you know what? I never have my phone on me. That is my thing. That is the real issue. Is I never have my phone on me, and something happens, and I think, oh, I should take that. Oh, I haven't got my phone.
Jill, do you know the answer is for that? Do you know the answer is? Carry your phone around with you. Just carry your bloody phone. It's called a mobile phone for a reason.
It's just not natural for me. That's the problem. It's always in my bag.
Brandon's coming to London. Would that be amazing? New Year's Eve.
Oh, bless him.
Oh, that's a party. Let's book a Santa.
He'll have a special pair of shoes for that. I can tell you that now, Brandon.
Let's book the Sanderson, the place with all the fun.
What a night! That was such a night.
Do you remember our first Christmas do at the Sanderson?
I do remember you getting in the coffin, Ian. Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened at the bar?
Yes.
We won't go into that one, right?
I remember it very well. I wasn't that drunk.
I was only telling that story about a week ago to somebody, and they could not believe it.
Yeah, you were quite drunk.
I was very drunk, yeah. Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, he's nice.
Oh, Brandon.
That is really, like, it doesn't come any bigger a compliment than that from Brandon.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. There's a true good heart, that guy.
Yeah,
he really is. He's a very undersung backstage hairdresser. He really is. Brandon
came on with us about 2 weeks ago and was absolutely like a sensational person. He was like, so just like all the Joyco artists, he's just so giving, open, supportive. But I met Brandon. We worked out. I didn't meet him, but I've met him through online and stuff. But watching his career from where he started and listening to his career, the way he told his story about how he's got to where he is now, and he's doing phenomenally well. And he supports all these artists all over America, and he gives them a platform to work from. And he is their biggest cheerleader. And I just think anybody with that type of give and that type of openness just deserves success. And he is one of those people.
He's the most loyal person to Joyco I have ever met. Yeah. And I thought I was, but he really is. And when I first met him in New York when we went over to Salon Ideas, the 2, I think it was. And he was a different person in more ways than one then.
Yeah, we talked about it, yeah.
He's half
the person. He's half the person.
Yeah, I mean, if I walked past him in the street and hadn't seen that transformation, I wouldn't have recognised him in a million years. But he's still got a heart of gold, you know. He was a nice guy.
I met him in Punta Cana. That's where I met him first, but I thought I'd met him before, but I hadn't. But he was like fantastic in Punta Cana. Now he helped put everybody at ease, and he was continually making sure people were looked after. He was phenomenal at that, and I've got a lot of respect for him. He's a really nice,
and he wears some incredible shoes. Does he?
Yeah,
yes.
After 2 years, see them.
To go with his tattoos, I'm sure. So that's it, Jill. So we've had an hour and 10 minutes. That was fantastic.
Wow.
We're gonna finish, and we're gonna stay on because we'll speak to you afterwards, as we always do, to recap and everything.
Oh, I get to find out what it is you say to people at the end.
Yeah. This is the secret bit. So, Paul, you wind us up, Paul. You do this best.
Well, mate, you want to see her? No. No, yeah, thanks, Jill, and thanks everyone every week. We're getting like more and more numbers every single week, and we get more messages on like Sundays and Mondays, and then Thursdays and Fridays saying, "Oh, have you got a live today?" Which is amazing. It's so nice to see people waiting to see who we've got on and all that. So yeah, we're just like we just said, it's like a chat between friends, but we're just trying to connect and bring the Joico family to everybody. So yeah, love it. So make sure you're hitting all the follow us all on Instagram. You've got Gill Berry Joico, you got me, and you got Ian Davies Joico. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, and then you'll find the salons.
YouTube.
Make sure you're subscribing to this channel and Ian's channel, and then Jill's cocktail products channel when that comes out. And we will see you on Friday. Although I'm live tomorrow. That's a little plug. I'm live tomorrow.
Yeah, you're live tomorrow. That's a big one. Tomorrow's going to be massive. Just say it quickly. We win tomorrow.
I'm live with Emily Cannon tomorrow, 8:15. We're going to be talking all things hair and Joico. So
how many subscribers has she got on YouTube?
1.3 million, I think. Something like that.
As soon as they 1 point something, you know she's big.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be tuning into that. That's going to be insane. Looking forward to it.
Cool. Right. Thank you, everybody.
Coffee,
Ian. Add some Smarties. See you on Friday.
Bye.